Well, thanks for watching Numbskull News. And how about that timing? Right on the money. I said 435. It was 435, like 0.2. Damn it. Anyway, thanks for watching Numbskull News. Today we're going to get into some realignment crap, because why not? Why not? It's the good stuff. Anyway, happy Easter. Still in my Easter uniform here. My one nice shirt. Yeah, I'm not big on the big to-dos as far as clothing. I like to get the clothes off. Ask my wife. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, that's too much for Easter. That's too much for Easter. WrestleMania's coming up. And The Rock's going to be there. And he's a heel again. It's going to be fun. Okay, I'm just kind of avoiding. I'm avoiding what I need to talk about. So let me go ahead and get in there. We got nobody. The Big 12 got nobody past the Sweet 16. Iowa State, they made a comeback, but it wasn't enough. Houston, close game. Duke beat them. And so you get 8 teams into the NCAA tournament, and nobody in the Elite Eight, nobody in the Final Four, and of course, nobody in the final. That sucks. That's disappointing to not get at least one damn team into the Elite Eight. So it's kind of back to the drawing board. Next year, you'll have a few other schools. Arizona, which of course didn't get there either. Colorado made the tournament, won a game, didn't get there. Arizona State's usually pretty good in basketball. I don't believe they even made the tournament. So we're going to need these programs to step the hell up and bring it. And the last couple of years, they haven't really brought much. So, and of course, a lot of people, Big 12 are frauds. No, it's a bad outing. It's not fraudulent. It's disappointing. But frauds, I think that's a little much. I mean, why don't we go ahead and check how many championships have been won the last 20 years? And you're going to see the Big 12 has won their fair share. So slow down on the fraud crap. Okay. And UNC got beat by Alabama. Damn. So, are y'all sure you want to go to the SEC? Because it's looking like you're not going to have a good time as far as football goes in the SEC. And now basketball isn't a sure thing. Oh, no. Just saying. All right. Scott Schrader, what's up, dude? So you're saying you pull all your eggs in one basket. You put all your eggs in one basket. It's a nice little... Of course, you put all your eggs in one basket. You got to. SEC needs to stop BS about double dipping in Florida and South Carolina. Half the conference are 2 teams in the same state. Thank you. Yeah, and I'm trying to reread that here for a minute. Maybe all right, you're saying the SEC needs to stop double dipping in the same state. Well, why? I think it would behoove them to have 2 Florida schools. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have 2 Texas schools. I mean, how many Texas schools does the Big 12 have? Because if you want to talk about a growing markets, a growing state. You want to talk about demographics, it doesn't get bigger or better than Texas right now. So sure as hell doesn't hurt much. Scott, Purdue looking good. They are looking freaking good. They are. Now stop reminding me of this Big 12 greatness, damn it. Arturo Balderas. No, they need to stop BS. That they don't want to double dip. Okay, talking about that's what I thought you were saying. Yeah. People need to understand that the SEC does not have the same problem with double dipping. They really don't. And they know where they're headed. It's a streaming future. Their lone partner, the big media partner, is ESPN. And ESPN's going straight to consumer, which means the SEC will be straight to consumer as well. Just in case people miss that. Julian Smith, I can imagine both UNC and North Carolina State in the SEC. Plus, imagine North Carolina playing at Florida in Gainesville and NC State hosting LSU in Raleigh at night. Well, understand those aren't exactly big matchups. They're not matchups that are going to blow anyone's socks off. They're not going to be huge rating matchups. None of that. So I understand you can imagine it there, Mr. Smith. I can't. I can't imagine SEC wanting that. I can't imagine ESPN wanting to pay for that. It makes no sense. I know that's the whole thing with UNC. Like, oh, they're so big. Really? I'm not saying they're not a big deal, but like FSU or Clemson, I don't see that at all. Arturo Balderas, the Big 12 needs to place its stake in streaming to be ahead of the curve of the Power 2. They may do that. Well, it's going to be tough to beat the SEC. Well, the thing is, ESPN is going to be a streamer, like 100% streaming. I don't know when that's going to happen. But probably by the end of the Big 12 contract, they would have already went straight to consumer, which means the SEC and the Big 12 both, which both have deals with the ESPN, both will at the same time be part of that. Now, if you're talking Netflix or something like that, you'd have to wait to the next media rights deal. And that's if ESPN and Fox don't want to, unask some real money. We'll have to find out at that point. And does Disney still own ESPN at that point, or have they sold it to, I don't know, let's say Amazon or somebody who has ass tons more money than Disney does? Would they be willing to pay several tens of billions of dollars? Maybe. I mean, is it inconceivable to say ESPN is worth $100 billion? It may be a little high, but I think Fox Studios sold for about $40 billion, somewhere in that. Well, I don't know if it's that much. I think it was somewhere around 30, so between 30 and 40 billion. Disney acquired Fox, but what would Amazon be willing to pay for ESPN, which still makes good money? They make a lot of money. They'll continue to make a lot of money in the future. That's hard to say. That's hard to say. Because here's the thing. I mean, the Big 12, you can say, well, why don't they do a deal with Amazon? Do a deal. Well, yeah, but if one of those big time tech companies, they want to really get into live sports, buy ESPN. And now you own live sports, essentially. Now you're the big dog in live sports. And then you have all of their studios. You have all the know-how, the people that know how to present live sports, and you just take Disney's place. Why wouldn't that happen? Instead of them just doing a separate deal with you. No, you still got to deal with ESPN. We just own it. You see what I'm saying? That something like that could happen. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see if it does or not. But I get the sentiment there, Alturo. And technically, we do stream already with ESPN. That'll increase over time. Let's see here. All right, next topic is read some Big 12 hate. It's pretty consistent. It's pretty consistent from several people. I've had some from Big 12 fans or Big 10 fans, I should say, ACC fans, which obviously it's kind of it's to be expected. You know, it's the same thing you heard from Pac fans. Oh, the Big 12 ain't shit. Of course the ACC fans that are just, really in their feelings with the ACC. Oh, we're going to take Big 12 teams. Oh, where have I heard that before? Are we going to go shopping there? Kind of rhetoric. We've heard all this before, so I don't take any of it seriously because it's baseless. I mean, why would a Big 12 team join the ACC now when they're weakened? Your two biggest brands are trying to get out of there. They're suing the conference to get out. That doesn't exactly scream stability. So the Big 12, say what you want, it's stable and they make good money, albeit not Big 10 or SEC money, but they make good money. I mean, line it up next to what the American, what the Mountain West, what the MAC or Sun Belt, line it up against them. Conference USA. All right, would you want to make their money or Big 12 money? That's a big gap. That is a sizable gap between those conferences and the Big 12. I understand it's double to the SEC and Big 10, but okay. But people talk like the Big 12 don't make any money. People talk like the Big 12 doesn't get any ratings. Like Utah is a nothing brand to add. Or who cares if you added Colorado or the Arizona schools? No one cares. The Four Corners suck. Really? I don't think so. I don't think so. If you saw the ratings last year, what Colorado was drawing with Dion, holy crap, that's a huge number. It's a huge number. And that's a tide that can float all boats here in the Big 12. No issue there. Utah, it's not, I would argue it's not the brand of like a Miami, but it's a nice brand to have. It's a nice brand to have. It's not one the Big 10 particularly cares about, but it fits well in the Big 12. And that's what it's about. What brands fit well? Good at football, or at least have the possibility, the availability to be good and draw viewership in football and have a really good basketball brand. Utah men's basketball kind of sucks right now. The women are pretty good. So at least they got half of it. Colorado's on the uptick. We know what Arizona is. Arizona State, typically they're good. Now, I don't know about Final Four good, but they're usually NCAA worthy, at least the play-in game kind of worthy. But yeah, but the hate that comes from the SEC or Big 10 people always surprises me. It's like, why do you hate the Big 12? Because your commissioners don't seem to hate us. I don't think they do. I think they do business with the Big 12. I think the Big 12 does business with them. So I'm like, you got all this money, you got all this and that, especially if you're like an Ohio State fan or Michigan fan or Alabama fan or Georgia fan. Why are you hating on the Big 12? I mean, maybe it's just me. I'm easy to hate. So go ahead and hate me all you want. But there's no reason for you big conference fans to have a problem with the Big 12. It's kind of ridiculous, I would say. I think that's safe to say. Let's see here. Alturo, do you think Oregon or Texas wins their new conference in year one? Or who has a better chance? Hate to say it, but I do think Texas has a legit shot next year. It's going to be tough. I mean, Georgia's better than what Alabama was last year. Alabama was really good. But remember, Texas beat Alabama. I don't know if Texas beats Georgia. Don't know. But it's a damn good question. I like Oregon. I like Oregon a lot next year. So, because it helps that, damn. Because Michigan, everyone thinks Michigan's going to be down next year. Everyone thinks Alabama's going to be down next year. And I think they will. They may still be good, but they won't be what they were. Washington will probably be down as well. But the SEC, there's some pitfalls there, man. Ole Miss, pretty damn good. Missouri, coming out of nowhere, pretty good. Tennessee they're good. So I think there's just a little bit more to worry about. A little bit more to worry about. Like if you're Oregon, you're not worried about USC right now. All right, they got to reload. Washington has to reload. Michigan has to reload. All right, although Alabama with that quarterback, they may not be that bad. They may not be that. I can't remember his name, but that dude, I know he's a running quarterback, but he's got a freaking cannon. Got a freaking cannon on him. So I think Texas will just have a harder time in the SEC, which it's predictable. That's a rough conference every year. I think Oregon has more of a straightforward pathway to a conference title. So I'm going to go Oregon. Long-winded answer. Sorry, Arturo. I like the channel and content. Nevertheless, the Big Ten marketing will go through the roof. Go Blue. Well, I appreciate their Les Austin Jr. Bazoo. What's up, dude? I don't hate the Big 12. Not sure what WDE means. I'm not good at that kind of stuff. But I appreciate that you don't hate the Big 12. But I've received some hate. No, you should grow thicker skin. Well, there's nothing wrong with my skin level. All right, it's just whenever I can discuss whenever I get a little hate, especially from the fans of the Big Two conferences or whatever, and they seem to really, really just not like the Big 12, and it's always kind of like why should a Big 10 fan hate the Big 12? I understand your number one rival is the SEC. Why aren't you hating on them? It's kind of shocking. Kind of shocking. But it's like your post like, oh, we're so much better. Like, it's kind of childish shit. Like, do I go around all day think, am I trying to find, I'm all over here, online trying to find, a YouTube channel that covers the Sun Belt Conference or Conference USA and just try to one up them. Oh, look at the money the Big 12 makes. Y'all suck. I'm like, no. What's the point of hating them? There's nothing. I don't have nothing against G5 people. It's kind of the same thing. You're on that next tier up level, right? So why are you punching down? If maybe it's because it's not that far down. Because maybe it's because we should have died a horrible death a long time ago, and here we are, stronger than ever, growing exponentially. I think that's why. Maybe there's a little jealousy. Maybe it's a little jealousy because you got Brett Yormark who's doing exciting shit in the conference. And besides, we have to try to take some shots, take some chances, and think outside the box. Because the traditional ways of being successful in college sports, we can't catch the Big Ten and the SEC. No way in hell. So we got to get creative, not just to keep up, but to close the money gap just a little bit. But I think that it's actually fun to be in a conference like that. Like, oh, wow, I wonder if this will work. Wonder if that'll work. I think there's a little jealousy because the normal traditional shit that's been going on for 100 years gets freaking old and boring and stale. That's right. I think the Big Ten and the SEC are a little stale. Just the whole traditional way of building a conference, kind of, and regular conference business, stale. And I think it's going to get more and more stale as we go along. And people are going to realize, yeah, we love the matchups. Everyone's going to watch all the big matchups of the big two conferences, but the shit gets old. It may take a while for that too 10, 15, 20 years. I don't know. But I mean, if you're an Ohio State fan, you it's not old to you. Ori is the quarterback at Michigan. Okay, well, if he's at Michigan, he's probably pretty good, or at least expected to be pretty good. AAR, what's up, dude? Stakes are raised to stay at the high limit CFB tables. CFB tables. Big 12 conference must rise up. Yeah, it has to. We got to get a little more dominant at the basketball, but I think the football is fun. It is fun. Your Mark was cheerleading for Houston and Iowa State on 365 Sports a couple of days ago. Didn't work out too well. No, it didn't. And by the way, he's supposed to cheerlead for them. They're in the conference. They're our representatives. As he said on 365 Sports, you would like to have a couple more teams. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Texas Tech, Baylor, where are you? You would like to have a couple more teams. They didn't get there. That sucks, but he's always cheering on the two that were there, and immediately they get beat. It's like, son of a bitch. I mean, Houston's been badass all year. Oh, that sucked. That sucks. Scott Schrader, Big 12 is going to be exciting this year with Texas, Oklahoma gone. It seems like it will be wide open. Of course. Yes. That's the exciting part. Anybody can win this shit. All right. Let me reset a few things here. We got to talk about the ACC because everyone's been talking and speculating who's getting what out of the ACC. Because at this point, all right, if you're an ACC fan, well, sure, we may lose, a couple of teams. We'll just replace them and move on. Maybe we'll take a Big 12 team and just move. We're going to stay a conference. No, I mean, I'm not saying you can't stay a conference, but an autonomous conference, a power conference, no, those days are gone. When Clemson goes, all right, ESPN is gone. I think they're gone regardless. 2027, you no longer have a media rights deal. And that's ESPN. Fox ain't going to pay for you. Fox will be out on what's left. Let's just put it that way. CBS, NBC, Warner Brothers Discovery. It's going to be the same shit with the pack. They're going to look at what's left. And by the way, they had Oregon and Washington still in that bitch. The Arizona schools, Utah in the pack, and they couldn't get a decent media rights deal from anybody. No, their top offer was a Big 12 like offer. But there was only one Big 12 offer, and the Big 12 got it because the pack turned it down. You may say, well, the ACC won't turn it down. Folks, that offer is not there because they're making essentially right around Big 12 money with Florida State, with Clemson, 5 games of Notre Dame. Are you kidding me? No. And without the Florida State and without Clemson, there's no hope. There's no hope. And that Clemson lawsuit, that's to clean up the the media rights, grant of rights ownership till 2036, regardless of ESPN. And I think they're going to win that. So basically, the grant of rights will be up in 2027, and everybody will be able to jettison for nothing, free, no paying your way out, just like in the pack. They'll be gone. So if you're Louisville, do you want to stay in that conference without Florida State, without possibly Miami or Clemson? I don't think that you do, because collectively, what money is there collectively for you somewhere? I just think everyone's going to lowball the shit out of you. Apple may, give you that kind of pack deal, which the pack wasn't excited about. ACC fans, please go back and I know they're old and they don't matter anymore, and sports people don't watch old sports shit, but if you want to understand any of this shit, go back, not just on my channel, but a lot of people's channels out there. Because I break it down, a lot of people break it down in those old pack videos explaining why the pack was going to die. I know on my end of it, I was right. All along the step of the way of them trying to get a media rights deal, they never could find one. They couldn't find one that would offer them Big 12 money. It wasn't there. Once ESPN was out and Fox was out, everything was lowball shit. Everything was lowball shit. 20 million, 21 million per school. That was about the best they were going to get at that point, and that just was not enough. So if ESPN pulls out and pays for 1 and 2 of your schools to go to the SEC, they're not going to be interested in giving you the same amount of money with Florida State and Clemson and giving you the same amount of money without them. I know I probably said that all wrong, but screw it. So basically, y'all got to pull your head out of your ass, because what happened to the pack is exactly what's going to go down with the ACC. I didn't think it would. But I don't think there's a way around it. And I'll tell you something else. I don't believe that there's I don't think there's an actual solution, like a settlement. It was it Rohan or something like that? One of the lawyers who was live streaming the hearing of the first FSU versus ACC hearing, which was awesome. I mean, you talk about some all-time dorky shit. You had a couple different lawyers at the damn hearing, live streaming it, kind of giving you updates every 4 or 5 minutes or whatever it was. I mean, that's how much people are passionate about the realignment talk. That's how much people love it. And that's one of the reasons I love this shit. I love realignment, because it hits every dorky side of me that there is, and I know a lot of other people too. But yeah, what Rohan talked about afterwards, I want to say he was on at Double Fries No Slaw Florida State channel, and what he was saying was there may not be a settlement between FSU and the ACC, because if you have the ACC, that's kind of, once they leave, that's kind of the end, and then the dominoes fall. That's the first one, and then it's just a chain reaction after that. And I mean, it eventually stops. The dominoes don't knock down the last several teams, but you're going to lose a lot, because, like Colorado realized, wow, the value isn't here in this conference, even with Oregon and Washington and Utah. It wasn't there. Without those LA schools, they were doomed. They understood that. They were talking to the Big 12 for months and months and months before they left. This is what we found out afterwards. So yes, when when that happens, or possibly even before it happens, because everyone knows the inevitability of Florida State and Clemson leaving the conference. And so you got all this history. So I'm sure there's some back channeling between Louisville and, yes, Duke. I know people have their doubts. I did a video on that. But would your Mark be interested in a blue blood basketball program that has respectable football? And they now draw viewers, which they haven't before. But your average viewership being 1.32 million per game for Duke, I'll take that all day long. I'll take that viewership being ranked number 33 in the nation. I'll take that in the Big 12, especially when it's attached to blue blood basketball. Absolutely. And I can't believe people actually ask the question, well, what is Duke without UNC? A blue blood. I mean, how many championships do you need? I mean, did I not see Coach K on like every ESPN broadcast damn near for like 20 years? I mean, come on. That's a ridiculous question. That Duke is big time, regardless. I understand the two biggest rivalry in college basketball. I understand that. But ESPN still tells the story of both, not just one or the other. Both of them have had legendary head coaches, legendary amount of winning, legendary NCAA success. I, I don't know. I may not ever get that shit. All right. Let me get to some more of these comments. Les Austin Jr., why the rant? I came to view your channel and you bagging on the Big Ten. How am I bagging on the Big Ten there, Les Austin? I ain't bagging on the Big Ten. The only thing I said about the Big Ten is I didn't understand why some Big Ten fans seemed to hate the Big 12. And I understand that's just a few in my chats and over some shit. But I didn't get that. It didn't make sense to me. Now, if you say that's bagging on the Big Ten, I don't know why that's bagging on the Big Ten. Maybe it's because I think Oregon is the favorite to win that thing next year. AAR, how about Duke, Gonzaga Zags, San Diego State, or UConn Huskies? I think Duke is coming. I think the Zags eventually. I think UConn eventually. San Diego State, I don't think so. And I don't. Nothing against Aztec fans. Nothing against the school. It's something I have against California. I don't. Those politicians are insane. So I don't want any of our schools inside the state of California. I think you're asking for trouble. You're asking for a lot of trouble. Mr. Jara, what's up, dude? Big 12 is going to get 8. I mean, maybe somebody will toss their salad, but I don't know 8 by what? By who? That makes no sense. Happy Easter. Same to you, though. Appreciate that. Appreciate you. Les Austin Jr. Happy Easter to everyone on the chat. Hey, appreciate that, Les. AAR Easter tidings risen. Absolutely. God bless you, AAR. That is the real Easter, not a damn bunny. Scott Schrader, Pac-12 should have took that Apple deal. Maybe they still be around. That was not going to happen because Colorado didn't want the Apple deal. Oregon and Washington sure as hell didn't want the Apple deal. And without Oregon and Washington, if you're Apple, why am I offering that deal without Oregon and Washington? If they're going to just turn their back and go, that's why the worst Arizona State AD or president, I believe. Actually, the president. He was the one that was like, "Hey, let's take the deal." Then Oregon and Washington left because they were never, ever, ever. No, and this one, I made a million videos about it. All right, those teams, especially at the top, the Oregon and Washington teams, were not going to do an all streaming deal. It wasn't happening. They would go to the Big 12 before they did that. The Big 10 was there waiting in the wings, and they got in. But even if that wasn't an option, no, they would have still left for the Big 12 because they're not going to be on a Apple TV deal. Oregon and Washington will not do that. Period. All right. Phil Knight won't allow that to happen to his university. Okay. That was never an option. And really was never an option for Colorado. You know, a lot of these, it wasn't an option for several of these schools. You know, I mean, maybe Stanford and Cal would have done it, but I don't know if anyone else would have. Hidden Hawaiian, what's up, dude? Duke definitely needs to be a top target. Some Big 12 talking heads tripping. They really think Pitt, I don't say gets them closer to football to SEC and Big 10, or closer in football to SEC and Big 10. Yeah, I don't see that either. I don't see that either. Like I said, Duke has the capability of getting big ratings, or at least, you know, not Michigan. I'm not saying Georgia, Texas. I'm not saying that. They have the ability. If you can average over 1 million viewers a week, that is legit for the Big 12. If you have the capability of getting there, I'm not saying they'll be there every year, but if you can get there, then you're worthy. And when you're attached to that kind of basketball program, to me, it's just a slam dunk. And look, I get what they're trying to say. You know, Duke is a small private school. You know, look, if y'all have watched my shit, you know I don't care if it's a small private school. TCU is a small private school. Miami is a small private school. Notre Dame and USC are private schools, but a little larger, but still private schools. So I don't care about the private school. It's about the overall brand. Public, private, don't give a shit. Personally, I don't give a shit. And there's an obsession with Pitt, and I get the whole Pitt thing. I get the backyard brawl thing. I get it, but to me, Duke is the more valuable get for the Big 12 than Pitt. To me, it's Louisville, Duke, and whoever else. You know, whoever else. But to me, the two big, and the reason I don't put Miami or UNC, all right, although I do think they'll be in the Big 12. Why have that fight every single time? Every single live stream and video does not need to be about UNC all the time. I know I talk to them about them a lot. That's because it's constant in the media. I'm the only one giving an alternative view to UNC not going to the Big 10, not going to the SEC. I'm the only one. Everyone else just assumes that's going to happen. I mean, it's more so, you know, people assume Stanford, maybe Cal to the Big 10. And it was a lot of people. But UNC even more than that. People assume that. I mean, more people believe UNC is going to one of the big two, more so than people thought Oregon and Washington. There's actually people out there that think UNC is a bigger brand than Oregon. That is ridiculous. I mean, I understand if you live in Tobacco Row, you live on the East Coast, you may think that. Because think about, there's no brand in New York. Really, most of New England, I mean, the closest to it would be Penn State. You know, Pitt, Maryland is under that. But in that area, I mean, you have to go to the South, you have to go to the Virginias, you have to go to Georgia, you have to go to Florida to start getting your real East Coast big time brands. They don't exist up there. And that's the media capital of the world. And UNC is right there, and they've done a lot of winning in basketball, but all that is predicated on the basketball. It's not the football. And as a Big 12 Mafia have stated many times, this is about football. Hey, God bless you too, Hidden Hawaiian. Appreciate you for being here. Arturo Balderos, in your opinion, who will be the next GOAT? Me in English, dude. Who will be the next GOAT coach of CFB? Now that Saban left, big part of him was NIL. Leaving was NIL. So it'll need to be someone who can navigate NIL successfully. Dion. I'm just going to say Dion. Just to piss everybody off. I think Dion stays at Colorado. I don't think he's leaving Colorado. A lot of people always go to Florida State. Well, they got a coach that's doing great stuff. They're not getting rid of him. He's going to go to the NFL. He's not going to the NFL. NIL, the current model of how college sports works was built for a dude like Prime. It's just what he knows how to build a brand. He knows how to expose his kids, to get their name out there, draft stock, all of that. Dude, there's about to be a big turning point, I think. I mean, people say, well, there's no brands in the Big 12. Colorado is about to turn into a monster, a freaking monster. I'm not saying this year. Might take a couple more years, but they're going to, dude. I say it's Prime, and not because of the X's and the O's, but what he knows he knows the business. That's what I think. Hidden Hawaiian, probably Kirby Smart, in my opinion. It could be. That's probably the smart money. It's probably the smart money. Someone like Kirby Smart. Yeah, I can't think of anybody. I mean, there's some big time coaches. Like Kirby's probably the biggest one left now that homeboy from Michigan had to leave. So yeah, I'm willing to roll with that. Probably Kirby Smart. I say Dion for just different reasons. But yeah, Coach Smart put some damn teams out there. That's for sure. For damn sure. AAR. These West Virginia Mountaineers want Pitt Panthers in Big 12 Conference, but Pitt wants that Penn State rivalry way more. Yeah, they can have Pitt can play Penn State every year. That's fine. It's going to be non-conference because there's no effing way. It's Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday. I'm not dropping F-bombs on Easter Sunday. There's no way Pitt is ever going to the Big Ten. Ain't happening. Hidden Hawaiian, I agree. Louisville, Duke, then maybe two others like Pitt, Virginia Tech, or whoever's left. Realistically, Big 12 is probably not landing FSU, Clemson, and Miami. I would agree with most of that. However, I would also say Georgia Tech is a real possibility. I'm not sure if the Big 12. I'm not sure if the Big 12 goes that way, but there's a shot. And like even though I try to, a lot of when we talk about stuff like this, when I say Louisville number 1, Duke number 2, it's understood. If you can get UNC, they're right there in the top of that mix. All right, and I think you will. I think they're being way overvalued in the media because I've not seen any evidence to suggest that they have that. They have incredible value, just they don't have the Big Ten and SEC value. AAR, nobody can navigate NIL deals successfully. because you never know what kid's going to perform for that big check. They're going to get they're going to get the money. I actually think Prime can navigate that. That's what I think. Prime can sell. Prime can sell to these kids. So I would say Prime. I just think he's going to be around. He's going to be around Colorado a lot longer than people think. That's what I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. That's what I believe. Scott Schrader, Kirby Smart. Yeah, one of those two. Coach Prime recently brought in Warren Sapp on staff. He should. I mean, now I would not have Warren Sapp as a chaperone to any college parties or anything, but and I hated Warren Sapp when he played for the Bucks. God, this dirty son of a. But you know what? He's got a lot to teach these kids. I know he's one of these, hands off kind of guys that no one, in the media want to deal with anymore. Just because some untoward stuff he got arrested for. But he's a Hall of Famer for a reason, damn it. Les Austin Jr. Colorado is a sideshow. They don't take football serious. They don't have money or resources. You haven't been really paying attention there, Les. I mean, their money donations have skyrocketed. Sellouts for the next couple of years. There's not going to be an empty seat in that house. Yeah, they're taking football very seriously. Why do you think they hired Prime? Why they even changed academic standards so they can get better recruits in there. Guys, a lot of that is misinformation there, Les. I'm not saying you're doing anything on purpose. Perhaps there's other people you're fans of that put out content here on YouTube and they talk that kind of shit. And maybe they're entertaining. Maybe you like them. Maybe they're pro Big Ten or and all that, and you like that. I'm cool with that. I have my biases, of course. I talk shit, but yeah, Colorado's taking it seriously. They will compete on the highest levels, and sooner rather than later. Scott Schrader, Dion won't stay at Colorado more than another year. He will leave after his kids all graduate and leave Colorado as a dumpster fire. That's a possibility. I've heard that argument before there, Scott. I don't believe that. I think he's actually going to be there for the long haul. What does long haul mean? I think he'll go through his next contract, his current contract, and I think he'll sign another contract. I don't think he's going to go to anyone else because none of these other big universities, like his alma mater or anyone else, no one took him seriously. No one's going to take him seriously. Even if he has great success there, it's hard to do that. It's hard to take that. A lot of these, you got to understand the way a lot of these colleges work. A lot of them are very conservative, very traditional. Talk about the higher ups, the big money donors. They don't want Dion. Not even at Florida State. They don't want Dion. So he feels that. He knows that Colorado gave him a shot. I think there's going to be some loyalty there. Believe it or not, Prime can be loyal. It happens. Patrick, Big 12 is a rudderless ship without OU in Texas. That's kind of some of the hate that I get sometimes when it comes to the Big 12. A rudderless ship. Does that mean they're just going in circles? I mean, you don't see innovations going on. I mean, just had the joint pro day in Frisco. I mean, no other conference does a joint pro day. Things like that. I mean, what we're doing with our NCAA, not NCAA, but with our Big 12 conference tournament in Kansas City, no one else is doing up their conference tournament like we do. No one's talking about Mexico. I mean, no one else is trying to go to Rutger Park. So I don't know what you mean by rudderless. It seems like we have a direction. It seems like we have Yormark, who's outstanding. I mean, you think Texas gave two fucking shits about Easter? Look what you did, Patrick. It's Easter. I'm trying not to break out the F word, and I'm blaming you, Patrick. It's on you. That F bomb was on you. But do you think Texas gave a damn about the conference? Clearly not. Clearly not. They were never interested in growing it. They were interested in what they can get out of it. That's it. That's why teams left. They didn't leave because of TCU. They didn't leave. Teams left before. That's how TCU got in the conference. But teams weren't leaving because of Oklahoma State or Texas Tech or Baylor. They were leaving because of Texas, and not just A&M. Nebraska, Colorado. Go down the list. People got tired of their BS. And then Oklahoma always being their little toady having their back. They got tired of that crap. Derek Marie, Colorado will be 11-1 this year. Well, that's a lot. I'm not predicting 11-1. I'm predicting bowl game for Colorado. That's what I think Colorado will do this year. Bowl game. But hey, 11, anything can happen in football there, Derek. Thoughts on Prime's way of recruiting, building through the portal as opposed to recruiting high school players, and also Zoom calls rather than in-person meetings with 4 and 5 star prospects. He's ahead of the curve on that. These kids, they're used to technology. They're used to being on their phone. You might as well be live in their living room. I mean, they're talking to Prime directly. All right. When they come to the school for the visit, I'm pretty sure they're going to be one-on-one with Coach Prime at that point. The Zoom call thing, it like I said, with this new generation, with the Zoomies and the what's the new one, the Alphas. Just I think I don't know if I'd call the newest generation Alphas. I think that's a stretch, but the way everyone's online, everyone's I think using technology is smart with those guys. Building through the portal, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. The only problem with the portal, you can't depend on the portal right now when it comes to linemen, offensive linemen. You have got to bring those in from the high school ranks, and you got to train them up. That's just it. The best of the offensive linemen, they don't get into the portal, all right, because it's a unit. The whole unit is not going to go. It's just one of them. See what I'm saying? So when a lineman is in a great unit, all right, and they're just clearing the road and they're just kicking ass every Saturday, that left tackle, right tackle, center, those guys are more likely to stick together because they know that helps their draft prospects. That's how they get drafted. So when you got a badass 5 there, it's hard. You're not going to split them up. They're not stupid. So you have to build a little bit more high school recruiting, and he does do high school recruiting. He's just not going to walk into your freaking house, and you don't have to. Not in this day and age. Hidden Hawaiian. Some media analysts, guys like JD from On3. Yeah, I'd never watched a lot of On3. Respect them. Respect the hustle. I just never watch a lot of them. Josh Pate, watch a little bit, but not a ton. Some media analysts, guys like JD and from On3 and Josh Pate, believe otherwise, that the Big 12 are in a good position to survive and be number 3. Yeah. I mean, I think most people feel that way. Whenever I hear, the Big 12's in big trouble, I'm like, how? Or, the Big 12 is going to get devoured. Why wouldn't they have already been devoured? There was an opportunity to get whatever schools anyone wanted from the Big 12 after Texas and OU announced they were leaving, and nobody claimed any of these schools. No one's going to in the future. I don't know. I don't know why that's so hard to figure out. I just roll my eyes. Oh, TCU, and the SEC is going to come after TCU. Oh my God. No, they're not. Especially with Texas and Oklahoma in there. No, no, no. You won't see any other Texas or Oklahoma schools coming to the SEC. It's done. AAR, Colorado Buffs likely don't run through the Big 12 conference, in my humble opinion. I would agree. I don't think they do either. I think 11-1's a stretch, but a 6-6, 7-5, maybe an 8-win. I can see Colorado winning 8. 11's a little much, More like 1-11 for Colorado. Oh, come on. They weren't 1-11 last year. No, they'll do well. They'll do well. I think they'll do better than that. Come on, Pat. Les Austin Jr. You overvalued that school. Sorry, bud. They're a stepping stone for coaches. All right. You could be right. I could be right. But I think Prime knows what's up. There's only a handful of places that would accept a guy like Prime. Colorado is one of them. All right. And they jumped in with that. Their money, the money they make, is going to keep getting better and better. I don't see any SEC school ever looking seriously at Coach Prime. I don't see really any Big Ten school really looking seriously at Coach Prime. I think what he does works perfectly in the Big 12. It's smart. And therefore, I think the rest of his coaching career is probably going to be at Colorado. So I don't think he wants a part of the NFL. He's been there, done that. But what has he said consistently? He feels that he's called to lead these young men, not grown men making millions of dollars. We're talking young men. And this new era, he's the perfect coach for it. That's why I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for Deion. I believe he's going to do great things at Colorado and be there for a long time. I understand that's not what people believe. So we'll see who's right. I could very well be wrong. I'll be happy to do a video on, oh, damn you, Deion, if and when that happens. AAR, Kirby Smart has loads of talent in Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, Mississippi. True. And I understand why people say, hey, Kirby Smart's the next Nick Saban. And he'll be he's top 2 option to be that big dog. Yeah, top 2 option. But I just figured I'd go with Deion, piss y'all off. And you're welcome, Marie, for what it's worth there. Rock and Rant first. Glad you're going on live more. Like meeting up at a bar. Second, plenty of coaches are using Zoom and FaceTime. Not doing in homes is a missed opportunity in many cases. But Deion gonna Deion. I get that. I get what you're saying there, Rock and Rant. But especially post-COVID, you're probably seeing a lot more Zoom and FaceTime. And I think Deion isn't going to do a lot of in-home, if any. And I think he's right for doing that. Because these kids, I don't think these kids give as big a shit. Maybe the parents care a little bit more about in-home. I don't think the kids give one solid shit. I really don't. I think they're used to FaceTime, Zoom. They're used to YouTube. They're used to all the social media bullshit. That's what they grew up with. That's what they grew up on. They've had a smartphone in their diaper forever. So Deion is just like, hey, I'm just going to meet you on your level and we'll do a Zoom or a FaceTime. And then you come visit and then I'll shake your hand, put my arm around you, show you around our beautiful stadium, mountains in the background. You could be playing here, son. You need to be playing here, blah, blah, blah. Then I'll give you the whole reach around, the college football reach around at that point. Les Austin Jr., I'm parent. You have to do in home. Well, no, you don't, Les Austin. I'm a parent too. I got 4 kids. I got, a couple of them actually kind of successful early on in their life, if you want to call being in the military and, being a nuclear engineer successful, I would call that successful. But no, he's meeting these kids where they are in their generation, which is about technology. You don't have, it's not that important to them to be in person. This generation of kids, they don't care. Now, I understand, Les, as a parent, I'm a parent. If I had a kid who was highly recruited and let's say Kirby Smart wanted to come to my home and pitch my kid, I'd be honored. But would I hate Deion because he FaceTimed I'd say, wow, my kid got to FaceTime Deion. But I understand it's a little different if Deion comes to your house. But, let's face it, Kirby Smart does not have the name value or name recognition of Deion. Deion's been a huge star for decades. Kirby Smart still pretty recent on that scene. And even then, most people wouldn't know what the hell he looks like. Everyone knows what Deion looks like. It's a little tougher for him to go from house to house. This isn't like some lazy thing for Deion or any of that. You got to understand, when he goes to the airport, he's getting mobbed. All right, he gets to the car, he comes to your high school or he comes to your parents' house. There's going to be cameras. It's going to be a big deal, possibly TMZ Sports. It's a big deal when he leaves the house. He's a freaking huge deal, a huge name, a celebrity that Kirby Smart isn't. Nowhere near. So I understand what you're saying, but Deion, there's a little different challenges with Deion. So I don't blame him at all for that. I don't think the kids mind. And ultimately, the parents aren't going to play for him as the kids. Anyway, that's it, guys. I'm done. And I'm going to be watching Mowing After Dark on the Big 12 Mafia channel. Hopefully you guys will head over there. I'll see you there. All right. Who's the Sleeping Giant program in the Big 12? Okay, I'll leave off on this last one. Sleeping Giant program in the Big 12. Well, kind of what we're talking about. Colorado is definitely a sleeping giant. I want to say Texas Tech's so bad. I want to say, but they're at the point with me. I'm not going to say that. I need to freaking see it. Let me see a 9, a 10, 11 win season. Let me see them in the conference title game. Texas Tech has got a lot to prove, and they ain't proved jack yet. Colorado, sleeping giant. UCF, Golden Knights. That's going to be, they're going to be a monster. They're going to be a monster. Anyway, those are my 2. I'll give you 2. I'll give you double. Anyway, guys, happy Easter. Enjoy your families. Enjoy your time off. And spend a little time in prayer. Be thankful. Be thankful that we have not for an Easter egg, we have a Savior that laid it down for all of us. Ooh, it needs more than one 5-star recruit for them to be who we think they are. They have other good recruits. Anyway, thank you for being here, Alturo, and everyone else. Peace out.